My primary reason for launching the business was to take better care of the customer. It was to put the customer first and really understand their needs, gain deep insights into their objectives, and to serve them to the best of our ability. That was the number one reason, and that's a common reason for most commercial conference companies. However, I'd seen it executed to varying degrees of success in the many companies I'd worked in myself, and I wanted to create an environment where really and genuinely the customer came first. So our entire business is shaped around that, putting the customer's needs first and helping them progress their objectives and their agendas to meet their goals. The second reason, and I would say this is probably on a par with our first reason, was to create an environment where A-grade talent in the industry could come together and do their best work. To be in an environment where they learned as much from their teams as they did from their managers and leaders and from the market and customers in general. So a really high-performing and fun environment where people could do their absolute best every single day. The reason I'm interested in this is because it affects all of our lives. Without affordable and secure energy, we can't do the things that we need to do in the world. We can't make the progress that we need to make globally. So energy is fundamental. It's a fundamental need. It's a fundamental right for everybody around the world. And we can no longer rely on fossil fuels, which the world is running out of, and energy production methods that are actually damaging our environment. So for me personally, driving clean energy has always been a really important aspect of laying the foundations for progress in general. We have tough targets, the government's provided tough targets, but the technologies that will actually deliver clean energy are quite challenging to integrate and operate. And the purpose of our business is to help engineers make the right technology choices and drive progress in actually delivering clean energy on a practical, tangible level. The way that we operate is we work directly with engineers. We go to the people who have to make the technology choices, the people who have tough timelines and minimal budgets to integrate new digital technologies into traditional electrical engineering based infrastructures. And they have a tough objective, a really tough target to meet. And our conferences enable them to come together to consider all the options, to get ideas from each other. They are peer-to-peer exchanges, and to go away better equipped and informed on how they can drive technology integration in their organisations. We know from the feedback that we get that when they come together in our forums, they gain the clarity and the momentum to make things happen in real life. So they go back to their organisations and they can implement new strategies that fast-track their projects. So we work with 12 months timelines. We're looking at what engineers need to achieve in the next 12 months, and we look at how we can help them fast-track their objectives within that timeline so that they get a lot more done in a lot less time and they can drive progress exponentially faster. That's the purpose of our forums. And when they come together and they discuss their ideas, they share their approaches, they stimulate new ideas emerging, they catalyse change, and they feel much more equipped and able to take action within their organisations with a lot more ease and confidence. We look for the white gaps, the information that's missing, the questions that are not being answered. And once we identify those, we use those insights to create programs that will address the tough questions, that will take people down the line of really deep inquiry and crucial conversations, if you like. So that when they come to our conferences, they're not coming just to get a status update on what's happening in the industry, but rather to have robust conversations about what the challenges are and what must be done to move the agenda forward for the industry as a whole. So I would say our point of difference is that we are fantastic at facilitating crucial conversations, that must be had in order for agendas to move forward and progress to be made in the industry. We don't just reflect what's going on in the industry. We expect our audiences to be the experts in that already. But what we do very well is dive much deeper below the surface, uncover what those subconscious challenges are that people are struggling to move forward on, and help them address those intelligently. Through our conferences, I've noticed that good conversation takes structure and it takes emotion to drive through. So one of the ways that we position our conferences, and that I talk to my team about our conferences, is that we are facilitators of crucial conversations. And what that means is that we have to plan those conversations really well. We have to have structure around them. We have to have a goal and an outcome in mind for those conversations, but we have to engage our audiences emotionally. They need to be fully invested in the conversation, not just from an industry point of view or from an organizational point of view, but from an individual point of view. What do they have to gain by being involved in this conversation? How can they move their personal agenda forward as well as their organizations and the industries as a whole? So we look for those criteria in our research. When we're researching with our market, we're looking for the practical things that they've got to get done in order to meet their goals, but also the emotional factors that are either going to enhance their ability to deliver or that are currently hindering them in delivering. And that much more emotional and psychological layer to our conferences ensures that when our speakers address a session, they're not just doing it from a technical point of view, which would be very easy to do in an engineering conference, but they are embedding within that, they're weaving into their discussions the human factors or the emotive drivers and the things that will drive their teams forward and the things that will hinder their teams in making progress. So we build that into every one of our sessions. You know, if you want to be productive on the planet, you have to expect change. It's going to come in one way or another at regular intervals. You know, we expect recessions every 9 or 10 years, and the economy delivers it without fail every 9 or 10 years. So I think we can expect that pattern, but we need to also expect the unexpected. So who would have thought that we'd be facing COVID-19 right now? Nobody would have thought that. Who in the past would have thought that we would have faced the technology bubble bursting? Who would have thought 9/11 would have taken place? So all of these unforeseen situations will come out at one point or another. For us as a business, we need to be prepared for that at all times, which means that we have to be agile. We have to expect the unexpected. We have to be looking for it, but not from a point of view of being fearful of it, more from a point of view of allowing change to fuel our creativity and to take us in new directions, to allow us to let go of what doesn't serve anymore in a new paradigm, and to very quickly get onto ideas and avenues that are going to actually take us forward and to help us add value to the world in new paradigms that appear. So changing times, we've been thinking about digital for a long time. We specialise in physical events, but we've been thinking about digital for a long time. It's only since COVID-19 that we've really felt the push to make that happen. So over the last few years, the team and I have been working on a web conference format that we're just starting to roll out, which I believe is going to add huge amounts of value for our audiences. It's going to deliver the information they need in the format that they need at an affordable price at a time when there is no other option for them. So we made that pivot very quickly. But the reason we were able to do it quickly was because we'd been thinking about it for a long time. And I suppose COVID-19 was the push to make us bring it to market at this point in time. It was the right time to do it. And we stepped in and made that change to our portfolio as the change to the economy and the world took place. So we were aligned with that. And I believe that's the way to look at change, as an opportunity. We can't control outside circumstances, but we can plug ourselves into the flow of it and get creative and productive and serve new needs in better ways. I think first of all, you just need to have a positive mindset, and that's not something you can bring on when times get tough. That's something you need to practice every single day. That has to be a part of your culture. A positive, productive mindset that will go with the flow of change, with the flow of the customer. So this whole idea of putting the customer first actually put us in a really strong position, because we weren't concerned about serving our own needs when all this change was happening. We were concerned about serving our customers' needs, because that's just part of our DNA. And what that meant was when their needs changed, our service changed. And we didn't even think twice about that. So a positive customer-oriented mindset is number one. Resilience is absolutely key. The ability to bounce back quickly. Of course, we're all surprised by the sudden changes, but how quickly can we bounce back? And that ability to engage our emotions, our psychology, and bring it all together and remain centered and clear is absolutely crucial to leveraging change as an opportunity rather than to falling foul of fear. That is very, very easy to do. The other thing is filtering in and filtering out information that's helpful or unhelpful. So I encourage my team to be aware of what's going on in the outside world, but not dwell on it. Because once people start dwelling on the news and only seeing the negatives and not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I think that's when people lose energy, they lose focus, they lose direction, and they start to, tough times get better of them. But tough times also make tough people, so I get my team to focus on that, to see this as an opportunity, that the fact that things are tougher right now means that they will develop stronger skills and they will emerge stronger from this experience. I always want to put their attention on the light at the end of the tunnel rather than the darkness of the tunnel itself. I think that's the difference.